The Las Vegas Raiders, a team that thinks there's only 10 players that go out there on the field on offense at a time, refusing to go for quarterback. Now, I get it. Sitting at 13, and Bo Nix is already the 5th quarterback taken off the board. Aiden O'Connell looks way too happy that they didn't draft QB. Relax, brother. But, yeah, I get it, right? The quarterbacks, they flew. They absolutely flew, and maybe even Bo Nix wasn't on their board that high. But at the end of the day, after Bo Nix is the 5th quarterback taken and you're sitting at 13, maybe you don't want to reach even further at QB. It was just a tough spot perhaps. But going Bowers definitely was a shock of the draft. Now, a lot of people want to say, oh, they already got Michael Mayer. Well, here's the thing. Bowers is way more athletically versatile, obviously. They're going to probably be playing Bowers in the slot a lot of the times. Put him out wide probably. But the argument is, was Bowers so good of a player that you ignore some of your other needs like tackle and cornerback? And honestly, I say yeah. Now, are you going to get someone like Fuaga later on at right tackle? Maybe. Maybe you did with Glaze. Perhaps. You can argue, his Glaze was already a reach as is, but it's the third round. I feel like once you get to the third round and beyond, reaches mean less and less and less. But in general, you could get a guy like Fuaga later. Probably not super likely, but it could happen. Are you going to get someone like Bowers later? Absolutely not. So when you're putting up upside versus upside, and you have a lot of positional needs anyways, and your team's probably not going to be that great, why not get a guy like Bowers and just be absolutely set on the offensive side of the ball, outside of quarterback? I get it. But what I don't get is how come they didn't go with a QB another round? Why didn't they go Rattler in the 4th, Pratt in the 6th? Why not at least throw a dart? Just not even going to throw a dart to see if something sticks? I'm genuinely shocked by that. Of course, Powers Johnson is a great draft pick. So, they got great value out of their picks. It's just they didn't fill the needs that they needed to. Defensive side of the ball, once again, corner. They got Richardson, but didn't really go high enough on corner either, I don't think. I believe this is a 3-4 in real life, but for some reason, all of the players were set as DN, like Crosby and Tyree Wilson are DN. So I'm just going to play him a 4-3 anyways, and that's kind of the best scheme to play for Madden regardless. But yeah, I seen a B+ from the Raiders, and I get maybe it might just be the value alone. But the fact that they didn't go with a QB the entire draft, when there was still some okay options, I think it puts them at a C. No better than a C automatically. Not addressing the most important position at all is crazy. It is crazy when you're the Raiders. They have, with Bo Nix on the Broncos now, I would say by far the worst QB room. I'm trying to think of other teams. I think it's like astronomically the worst quarterback room in the league. But looking at some of the other players around this team, you've got your franchise left tackle, you have a pretty damn good center, Whitehair serviceable left guard, and of course Powers Johnson's going to be our right guard, and then Glaze, we'll see what happens at right tackle. The tight end's obviously perfectly fine. I did put Bowers in the slot as well because I'm trying to get as much value out of him as I can, because I'll be real with you, while they can definitely move him around a lot to get him and Mayer on the field at the same time, I can't really do that in Madden. So unless I run like maybe the Patriots scheme, I'm not really sure how I'm going to get use out of both of those players. But wide receivers, you got Devontae Adams, quote-unquote, had a down year, but when you have the quarterback situation the Raiders do, that's just natural. It's going to happen. Tucker, pretty fast. Myers, pretty good. Running back, Zamir White, he's decent, right? He's like 4 yards per carry kind of guy. He did play better than Josh Jacobs. I know Josh Jacobs is quote-unquote injured, but he played better than him in general. Josh Jacobs had a down season, but Zamir White didn't. He had an up season. So I get why you're like, we gave him that tag. He didn't really show us what we wanted to see. Well, let's not pay him. Because he quote-unquote had better than him last season. And then quarterback, we're not going to talk about. We already talked about it enough. Defensively, linebackers, Spillane had kind of an out-of-nowhere season. Eichenberg, not really a coverage linebacker, but he should help the run defense a bit. But yeah, definitely need to upgrade this linebacker group a little bit. Safety, Merrick, very good. Epps, pretty damn good. Cornerbacks, Hobbs is by far their best cornerback on this team. Jack Jones will have to replace. D-line, Christian Wilkins, the big off-season name. Paid a lot of money for him, but he is going to be a problem with Max Crosby. Byron Young, didn't really get to see much of him or Wilson, really. It's kind of crazy because, you look at the Raiders from last year, and they had one of those drafts where it was like Michael Mayer and Tyree Wilson in the same draft. They kind of cooked, and then they didn't do anything. Didn't get to see much. So we'll see what happens in their sophomore year, even though it's technically their rookie year. And then in Madden, the best special teams in the league. Very good in real life as well, but in Madden, it's kind of hard to argue against. But yeah, quarterback's going to be the position we need the most. Few offensive lineman pieces, some linebackers. I worry about Devontae Adams regressing, though. We're definitely going to be looking at wide receiver quite a bit. 30 years old, 94 overall. Could be like an 88 overall 2 seasons from now. And as excited as Aiden O'Connell is, I'm not super excited about our quarterback room. But yeah, if any of you guys are Raiders fans, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the draft. Obviously, you got to be pretty excited about Brock Bowers, but to not grab a single quarterback, I genuinely don't know what the thought process is there. Like, I really what is the thought process? Like, you don't like any of the quarterbacks? How can you hate any of those quarterbacks who are unknowns at the pro level more than your knowns, which are mid? I don't know. I don't get that, right? I don't get that at all, but the Raiders are going to Raider. For a team to be located in, the gambling city of the world, to not take a gamble on quarterback is just, the ultimate reverse irony. I guess it's not really reverse, it's just irony. But anyways, even if you are a Raiders fan or you're not a Raiders fan, maybe in the comments section below, let me know a team you'd like to see next. I said that this was going to be the team we were doing next. We did. And there's a lot of other teams that we're going to be doing throughout the, the quote-unquote off-season here while we lead up onto the next Madden game. So, let me know what team you want to see next. And while you're down there, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Doing a ton of franchise stuff on the channel, rebuilds obviously included. And I'd appreciate you if you stuck around. I think you enjoyed around here. And if you are not new, you have stuck around. And I appreciate you a ton. But let's get into this. Hoping... I don't know if I want us to suck out the gate, but at the same time, you got to get up that corporate ladder somehow. And sometimes I feel like the jokes are, too subtle. That was a giving head to get a promotion joke. Yeah. Jokes are funny when you explain them. I'm going to need us to stop winning. We've won a couple of games in a row, and I am feeling unhappy. As far as the contract negotiations go, though, it seems like they're all, backups. A lot of these guys I actually signed myself for mentorship, but... yeah, mainly backups, so not bad. Oh, okay. I mean, we won another game I didn't want to win, but if that helped Tyree Wilson get to Superstar Dev, that is absolutely worth it. What a breakout. The team is selling the draft pick. Stop selling the draft pick. Oh, nice. We lost to the Broncos, who basically no wins. 6-11. At a certain point in the season, you have to root for losses. Didn't force the losses, even though it would have been smart to. But, yeah, you definitely have to root for the losses after a certain point. Your playoffs are gone in a rebuild setting. I mean, it's just GG. You might as well just be happy to lose. Garner should have definitely, taken Aiden's job at some point, but that is crazy. 3,500 yards with only 8 touchdowns and 21 picks. Zamir White, touchdowns and yards are great, but yards per carry were not. Devontae cooked despite having a terrible quarterback. Receivers, Brock Bowers and Mayer. I think we did what we could. Kind of put Brock Bowers in the slot. I don't know what else I could do. 1 touchdown for 2, top of the league kind of tight ends. That's kind of absurd, but what can you do? Sack totals, 20 allowed for the tackles combined. The crazy part is most of that was from Colton. Sack totals in general for defense, though. Max Crosby, 11.5. That's decent, but I would expect more, especially with the help of Wilkins and now superstar dev edge Tyree Wilson. Pretty down, season for these sackers. Disappointing season nonetheless. 15 of 17 for kicking. Missed 2, which is fair enough. AJ Cole over 50 yards per punt. That's all we could ask for. Randall Cobb was the kick returner. Okay, fair enough. Yearly awards. MVP goes to Lamar Jackson. Any awards for us? Not even close. Without the touchdowns, not even on the list for our tight end Brock Bowers. And the defensively, Tyree Wilson technically counts as a rookie, but technically don't matter because he sucked. No for anything. Even wide receiver, number 10 for Devontae. O-line, not there. D-line at 6. Linebacker, not there. DB, number 10. kicking at number 3. I mean, kind of a wasted season. I can't imagine, other than maybe Zamir, because he's only normal dev, that we would have gotten a dev up for really anyone. It's still crazy to think the Chiefs went 7-10 in this sim. I don't think I've ever seen them do that badly. Bad timing, too, because, you know, we're bad right now, so they're probably going to be, like, really good soon. The Niners beat the Chargers by 7. Dev ups, none for Zamir, is very disappointing. Then we move on to the defensive side of the ball, where Wilkins and Wilson. If you have a name Will, you've won this offseason. But Wilkins with a dev up is easily the most clutch dev up you could ask for. Of course, this team paid him a lot of money. And, you know, he's a little on the older side for a star dev guy, but now he's superstar, which is great. And then Tyree Wilson goes from star to X Factor, despite playing really badly. I'm not really sure what he did deserve. Maybe tackles for a loss? Yeah, those tackles for a loss have been sneaky in these rebuilds lately, and we'll take it. We'll take every dev up we can get, especially when we have just a terrible season across the board. But let's take a look at re-signings. I don't think there was anyone, right? Unless some names slipped in there last second. There should have been nobody on our list that we really cared to keep. Most of them were older mentor-type players. 78 mil, though, so we do have money for free agency if there is anybody there. And, yeah, nobody showed up. I think even Randall Cobb retired. Maybe someone else did. Free agency. Amari Cooper would be kind of a cool combination with Devontae Adams, but I don't think that's a position we're going to be prioritizing. Definitely like a quarterback. I don't know. I mean, Zach Wilson, he's like a serviceable QB, maybe a Trey Lance, but I just don't know if it's worth it. Like, you already have kind of, maybe not athletically the same, but a similar type quarterback on the roster already with Aiden O'Connell. You're not really getting much if you add him. Cam Akers, maybe add some depth at the cornerback spot. I actually don't hate that. Somebody else wants him, though. But if we can go like a 2-year, I don't know, 2-year 14, that'd be great. And the Cardinals are interested as well. I mean, I'll put that on the list, and whatever happens, happens. Wide receiver, I mean, maybe in the slot, but I think we're fine, even with Trey Tucker, and obviously Bowers kind of stealing that slot role in general for us in sim. Offensive line, there's improvements we can make, but we're not going to make it in free agency because they're pretty mid. D-line can make some improvements DT-wise, but not great either. Linebacker, Drew Tranquill, serviceable, but I'd probably rather go the youth route and actually develop someone for the long term. And then cornerback, definitely could use a cornerback, but these guys are all like last legs of their career, kind of like pointless to sign guys for the most part. Safety, not really going to improve our safety position too much, so yeah, we're going to offer on Cam Akers, and even he's not the biggest name, but of course, we don't get him. All right, so we see a couple of teams here. The Vikings shouldn't take QB. The Bears shouldn't take QB. The Broncos shouldn't take QB. Titans could. Giants could. Seahawks could. And there's only 3 quarterbacks, and I don't even know if I like all 3 of them. As you can see, one of the 3 is a 3 to 4 talent grade. I think with 1 to 2 talent grade, you're definitely willing to take Agnew or Andrews, because we're desperate. We're absolutely desperate at quarterback. Was there any other QBs? We don't have them fully scouted. That's the problem. But yeah, we're gonna play it how it lies and hope that the Broncos don't take QB. If they do, that would be really unfortunate. Seahawks, they don't either. Giants, they do. Titans don't. That is, I mean, I think we're gonna have that quarterback if we want him, which we are. Question is, do I want him? Do I really trust the game? Because, I mean, those are some mid ratings. 21 years old, of course. Elite throw power. No real accuracy or athleticism. But a B, and a C. Our favorite, of course. A pressure for under pressure. I mean, that is risky. Because it's like, do you really trust the true talent grade being a 1 to 2? You also have a running back that looks really good. Do you take running back at 7 when you don't have your quarterback yet? I don't know. Running back's a little bit harder to get in Madden to develop, but obviously quarterback is the number 1 importance need. What else do we have? Some D lineage at 1 to 2. Cornerback, who I didn't really think is even that great. Corner's really weak this class, I can't lie. But I think based on just needs, we're going to have to go Sammy Andrews. And he's hidden, Dev. 95 throw power. Even if he's not really as good as they say he is, which, you know, a 1 to 2 should be anywhere from 70 to 74 overall usually, I think we made the right call because he's hidden. Hidden alone makes it worth it. You know, young and hidden, it's all I can ask for. We went to this pick because I want to see if any of those D linemen are still there. And Young is... I don't think Young's that good, but the problem is there's no other options. So, like, it's like use Byron Young again, ironically enough, or go for this guy who is named Young. You also have Frank Lippett. Safety is a problem going forward, and he could even play corner if you needed him to. Don't know a lot about him, but I know that he has A tackle, B block shed, A catching, and at least a C in zone. Pure value-wise, I think either the safety or the running back is our best bet. But the running back looks built like, pretty much any other running back I've seen. What about Griffey? 5'9", decently athletic. I think we're going to go for that safety. I think we're going to trade up. And they take a 5th round pick to move up 6 spots. They have no 3rd or 4th round picks. So I guess they just wanted an extra value at just anyone. And safety, not really the biggest need, but I like the value here. I'm going Frank Lippett. And I 90 speed, I have had some luck with the name Lippett at safety. Bears franchise, X Factor. Not bad. Let's move on to the next pick. I don't think we're going to be able to get DT this draft, but we'll see if we can land some other positional needs, maybe O-line or something, or running back even. Linebackers on the list as well. So, I mean, this is kind of a tough one because, like, what do you want? Russell looks really good, but we could also use a linebacker. Farrell looks really good, or Farrell, whatever you want to call him. Cornerback is definitely a need, but I don't know if this guy is like a starting caliber corner. Very slow, actually. Yeah, I don't think you go for any of those corners, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a tough decision. I think I might go center. Put him at, like, guard or something. We kind of need a tackle, though, right? I don't really like anyone but Russell, and I don't know if I can see him as a tackle. Either way, I'm taking him. Ah, normal dev. We've done it. We've sold. Didn't hate any of the draft picks until then. We ended up trading a 4th this, a 7th this, a 5th next, and Gardner Minshew to move up, like, I don't even know, 15, 20 spots into this 3rd round. I think we're going to be taking the linebacker, the remaining linebacker, the last one. You also do have a guard, which is interesting. DT Burton. He's a DT, but he's more of a nose tackle, and we don't really need a nose tackle. Maybe I could have waited for Weber, but I think Fulton's going to be our guy. Fulton, 22 years old, athletic as hell, and unfortunately normal dev, but should have a high upside. Next pick, though, all the way in the 7th round. Would love to see a running back there, but I don't know if there's going to be one. 2 UDFAs, but UDFAs usually go higher, especially if they're good UDFAs. We still have another 7th round pick too. And, oh, nice. Okay, so we have Madden, we have Holt, and we have a cornerback. Really need corner, but that guy is looking really mid. Running back, going to go for him. Devin Madden, normal dev, 88 speed, 90 excel. And then the last guy would be a wide receiver. Not necessarily a need, so I'm just going to move on to the next pick. Not going to trade up or anything like that. If he's there, sweet. If he's not, let us go some other position. And he is gone. All right, let's take a look at the draft recap. 73 plus. Nice. 73, 73, 72, 73, 69, 67. So the quarterback, Sammy Andrews, obviously the automatic starter. Pretty medium, risky or average, medium, and short range, but everything else is pretty decent. I'd really wonder what his dev is compared to the other 2 QBs. Please? Star, okay. I mean, he's pretty average. He's definitely pretty average, but he's good enough. Good enough for me as a starter. Lippett, zone coverage is a little iffy. He's actually kind of raw, but he's at least hidden development trait and a future starter. Maybe even a starter for, EPS right now. We'll see. 24 as a safety is a little, I mean, it's a good number for the Raiders, but I'm going to put him at 30. And then the center, Russell, 72 overall. Could have easily been hidden, but just didn't get lucky, unfortunately. I guess I'll put him at left guard because he may even be a starter right now because I don't know what Whitehair's like age and regression point is. So we're going to put him at left guard because he might even need to start. 73 overall. So basically all 73s when you move him there. Fulton, though, will go up higher as... Oh, he's actually not bad. Man coverage is a little iffy, and obviously press is terrible, but he's actually a pretty good player. We're going to put him at, I think, left out. I don't know what position we need, but we need a starting linebacker, so we drafted one decently high. Then in the 7th round, we got a 69 overall running back, Devin Madden. Pretty versatile. You see those types of players all the time. And then Webster, the 67 overall, 6'3" wide receiver. Pretty good release and catching. He's actually not a bad, sort of jump ball receiver, but let's take a look at some of the players we could have had or some of the players that we didn't have a chance at, like Agnew. I'm really curious to see. Hidden development trait. Definitely the better quarterback. It would have easily been the number 1 guy we took, obviously. But unfortunately went at a bit higher of a pick, but only star dev, so you don't really miss much with taking Andrews or being forced to take Andrews. The Cardinals, 82 overall for Watts. Oh my, if he's generational, I'll be kind of mad. 95 speed, 88 juke move, kind of tells me he might be. He's only star. Okay, so I can live with us not going with him now. If he was generational, I'd be a little mad, but without it, I mean, you need that quarterback position, right? And speaking of quarterback, this was the other guy, Gibson, 20 years old, normal dev. Not bad, though. Needs the dev ups, but not bad. He's very accurate. And in the 3rd round, did we have... Who was the other guy that we had an option of? What about Atkinson? 1 pick before us. Normal dev. Did our guy go down in overall, by the way? Because we took him right after. Oh, maybe not. It was Williams that I was looking at. So it was Williams that we were actually going to go for, who was hidden development trait. Way more raw, though. So unless he's Superstar Plus, our guy is without a doubt better. Star dev. So, I mean, I think we did have the better player anyways. And then where was the offensive lineman? Oh, there he was. I seen him. Gerdes. Probably going to be hidden, even though he looked so much worse than our center. Nope, normal dev. Okay. Oh, and Murray was hidden dev. Gotta love that. Insane change of direction. Okay juke move, but pretty damn athletic. Please only be star. Thank you. Still a good player, though. Better than the center we took. All right, so here's the squad for year 2. Definitely going to rock the Raiders scheme again, just to give the Raiders one more chance at this thing, because it might have just been a really bad quarterback causing issues. But going into next draft, the biggest thing we got to do is fix that offensive line a little bit more and absolutely land ourselves a corner. Wide receivers going to be on the list. We looked through some. I seen a couple of okay names, but didn't really find someone that I wanted to waste a pick on. Russell was unfortunate just to not be hidden. Fulton, hoping for a dev up, rookie of the year, that kind of stuff would be great. But DT would definitely be a need. Corner 100% is a need. And then Lippett, I think, makes our safety group fine. Replacing Epps with him just because Epps is, not the best. His overall is decent, but not the best. And his ceiling is already basically reached. The rare DB camp standout. 1 of 2 for Trayvon Merrick. Also more rare to even get the thing. $68 million. We have some re-signings. Hobbs, obviously. Merrick, obviously. Those are, our core DBs. Divine Diablo, maybe, but that'd be a backup contract. Spillane, I'll actually have to take a look at his ratings because 80 overall is, pretty good, but if if he's really bad at block shed and coverage, like you would assume his coverage would be pretty good at least. Let's take a look what his coverage rating is. It is, it's not bad. He's definitely decent. Let's see if Field General helps him any. Making it even harder on myself to re-sign him. That's pretty good. See, I don't really like that contract lengthwise, but a 2-year 16, I'm down for that. Hobbs, 5-year deal. We're hoping he gets to Superstar, but can't guarantee it. Same with Merrick, 5-year deal. Hoping he can get to Superstar, but can't guarantee it. But he's a little bit more guaranteed. He's already an 85 overall. And then Divine Diablo, I think we're going to have to say no. In a user league, no matter how bad of an overall he is, with his athleticism and his size, there's no way you could let him go. But he is pretty mid when it comes to sim. So we're going to have to let him go. Epps, going to have to let him go. Kuntz is a pretty good depth piece. I'm pretty sure his finesse is really high. So I maybe we keep him as a backup. He's 79 finesse, 73 block shed. It's actually really not bad at all. So maybe I do keep him on a 2-year 11. That's decent value for a backup. Why not? We actually made a bit of a turnaround putting the Patriots scheme on, but that did not end up doing as well as we would hope for the end, as we go 6-11. Even got beat by the Broncos record-wise in this one, which was definitely not good. We ended up putting on the Patriots scheme. I think it was right here. Yeah, it was 100% right here, and I was like, oh. And then we lost $1 billion at the end. We lost 6 of the last 7 or something like that. We're crazy. For a moment, I was thinking, oh, maybe we actually do have a new scheme maybe we can throw in there, but I'm not sure about that. Sammy Andrews, efficient, but touchdowns were a little low. Zamir White, he's not the guy. 2 breakout attempts, failed both of them, not great in general. Bowers had a better year. Adams did not. Myers was decent. Mayer was better. So the tight end scheme did work a little bit better for both guys, but that might have just still been, once again, putting them in the slot, saving the day anyways. Crosby was amazing, but everyone else was terrible. Well, I mean, I don't know about tackles for a loss. I don't pay attention to that. Yeah, really bad tackles for a loss season as well. Ja'Cory Bennett with 5 interceptions. We see that slot position get a lot of dev-ups in Sim, and that's for good reason. Slot position comes away with so many picks in Sim. Yardage was terrible. Caleb Williams at number 2, McCarthy at number 3. Did we win anything, please? Nice. I forgot about Offensive Rookie of the Year. It should have been guaranteed to win that, which we did. And then Fulton could go to Superstar. I don't know if the tackles were enough to get him to Star, and then the dev up gives him, the award gives him the dev up, perhaps. But not a great season regardless, even though we are going to guarantee some dev ups here. Probably going to need to change to one of the more OP schemes. It's just the way of life, I guess. Bears back in the Super Bowl, I believe, against the Ravens. And the winner is the Bears. They've been winning a lot in Sim lately, which, I mean, kind of rightfully so. That offense looks absolutely stacked on paper. Andrews does go up in dev. Zamir White obviously does not still. And then defensively, Fulton does go to Superstar like I suspected he could have. Tackles got him the Star dev, and the award win got him to Superstar, which is a pretty big win. That's why you draft those linebackers specifically. You draft and develop the linebackers. They're really not that hard to draft and develop. Spillane's still our starter, but we do need a right out, need a DT, and then obviously need a corner. Well, I can't say obviously because I know Ja'Cory Bennett started old. How old is he? 25 now? Yeah, that Vikings rebuild, even with Blackman developing even quicker than that, it just didn't work out because that age, you starting off at 25 in game, you're just not going to develop to that 90 overall, which is what almost feels like you need to have happen if you want a chance to win. You need those 90 overall corners, which even then it isn't even enough sometimes. But yeah, need a center, potentially. Need a left guard, more than likely. And then right tackle, Glaze has just not done well. But running back as well. So wide receiver, running back are pretty big up there. I just don't know who I corner in the first. I don't know. We didn't play well, so it's probably going to be a trade down unless there's some super goon. And that might be able to, help us out. Filling out the rest of our draft classes, obviously. We need a lot of players. We need a ton of them. At least 7 new starters going forward. Devontae, maybe he will stick it out as the starter for the rest of this thing. Myers maybe goes to 3, and then we get a new wide receiver 2 that's a bigger X-type receiver. But looking at re-signings, these guys, I don't think they're really worth it, so we're going to pass on them. All right, Nick Bolton. That is a name. We need a defender. Oh, Greg Newsome. I'm sending it. He is being sent. Greg Newsome is a name. Please. We're the only 5 bar. Please. You know what? I don't know if actual more money does help him or not, or if it is literally just the interest bar, but I'm willing to pay a 5-year 100, obviously. So I am going to pay that without a doubt. And if he doesn't join us, I'm going to be very mad. Don't know if I want to spend more money and go for Nick Bolton, though, so I might just make cornerback our only thing and then just keep drafting these linebackers through the draft, developing them through the draft, of course. DT, Aleem McNeil, recently did that, didn't work out, but this is a star dev Aleem McNeil, so maybe a little more interested than I normally would be. But even that, I think, wait, actually, I looked at the wrong player. He's actually even worse, technically, than Pierce. Yeah, I think we're going to pass on that. Really need a running back. Do I see Jalen Warren as that running back, though? What is, so I don't think he's starting in-game. I'd imagine Najee's the guy, right? No, he was actually starting. Didn't really look that good, though. I guess you draft a new running back and just hope you get some beast. Trey Benson's a free agent. Not really interests me. Money's becoming more of a problem than I thought. I wonder if we can release anyone. I'm not going to skip anything because I kind of do want Nick Bolton a little bit. Let's see what Nick Bolton. So let's offer them base contract. Puts us at yellow. Okay, so it is doable. What about Mosley? Do a 1-year 5? He's like a mentor as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, mentor tag. Not going to get him, I doubt. But yeah, I mean, I think even if we could save money, I don't want to go for anyone else. Please. Yes, that's all I needed. All I needed is Mosley. Or not Mosley, Newton. We're not going to get Mosley is what I was going to say. So we're in the draft, and we're at pick 6, and I got to be honest with you, I think there may actually be a generational running back. The thing is, I could be risking him here. You're looking at this guy, you're probably thinking, is he generational? I don't know. The reason why I even looked at him is because the athleticism ratings are off the chart, so I scouted him a little bit further, and then I seen all of these A's. A juke move, A spin move, A break tackle, A stiff arm, A truck. It's not common to see that. Usually you see like A truck, A stiff arm at best. But to see juke move and spin move, that's pretty impressive. The thing is, maybe he's not because he has the B carrying and B ball carrier vision. Maybe not. I don't know. But with the size and speed, I think he is. And I know we're probably risking it by trading down. I maybe even should take him right here. But I'm going to trade down to like 15, I think. I think we should still be able to get him. He's a 1-2. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe we do like 12. Because I know it says 1-2, but I've seen 1-2s go all the way up to like 13 or so. So maybe like pick 12 we go down to. Grab like a second round or something. So in a trading Jack Jones, pick 6 overall this year, a 5th next year, and a 6th this year to get pick 11 and 43 from the Broncos. And even though he is a 1-2, if he's there at 11, which I'd be really shocked if he's not, I am going to take that running back. I genuinely think he might be generational. If he's not, it's a sell, whatever. We need a running back. As long as he's hidden of some sort, but I really do believe with that speed, with the size, and those A's and all those different juke ability type ratings, he's got to be. And he is hidden. 94 speed, 93 excel, 93 agility, 89 change of direction with 92 jump. I think that change of direction might say that he is. And if he's not, he's just one of those insane star dev, superstar dev type players, which is, I mean, still really good. I imagine he's going to be a very high overall, even if he is an X Factor. That's fine. It's just, I need myself a running back with a high upside, and I think that's what we're going to get. And I'm going to trade up for Will Ford. DT is right up there with those needs, and the fact that he's still there is very much so impressive for us. Let's go with the Seahawks, land ourselves a new defensive tackle who hopefully is perfect, and we don't need to worry about that position again. A 7th this, 7th next. It's only 5 spots. Oh my, I guess we're going to have to do a slight bit of work here. 6th and a 7th next year, so we're kind of lacking in the later portions. Okay, I guess we're throwing in a 7th this year as well. Might even have to throw in a player. This team, man. It's not really this team. They just want their damn value. Whitehair, I mean, he's expensive. I'm surprised he's not more expensive, though, to be fair. That's not a bad trade for them. You know, it's 5 spots. That is like the most lucrative 5-spot trade in like NFL history. In the second round, at least. Obviously, there's probably some crazy first-rounder ones. But the DT is going to be our choice. I think he's by far the best, and maybe even only DT option. I guess you have Leak, and I guess you have Spruce, but none of them look good as as good as Will Ford. He's 23, but I think I'm willing to go for the 23 for once. And he's hidden dev. 88 strength, hidden dev. I'm going to be honest with you, I did not know he was 23 until that moment, and I was still I was locked in. He looked too good to pass on. I went against my fears. It was very hard to do. I don't want to do it again. I'm not going on the elevator again. Screw that. But it worked out. We also have a cornerback, Du Bois, but we got Newsom and all that, so we're chilling. So I think we're going to trade this to like the late second, early third, grab a couple of linemen and a linebacker maybe, and be happy with our draft, I imagine. There you go. The Vikings give us a 4th round as well. Should be able to use those 2 picks maybe to trade up to like early third. But I think at 20 here, we're going to take, whoever the best available offensive lineman is and hope they're hidden. I don't even know how many linemen we need anymore. It's hard to keep track because we've been selling a lot lately. Oh, Barton's still there. I'm taking Mason Barton. Hidden dev. Cook. We actually need a lot of linemen. Damn, son. We need a linebacker, though, more than anything at this point, I think. Got a couple of nice linemen. I'm really hoping these day 3s stay, especially Orton. I mean, you can't pass on Orton. Booth might be worth taking. Marshall definitely would be worth taking, but I also want a linebacker. Bryson looks pretty good. I might go Bryson first. I really hope he's hidden, dude. I'm taking him. Yes! He's actually insanely elite. That athleticism looked really elite, and it absolutely was. He is a goon. And honestly, I'm going to go to 30. I'm going to go to 30 and trade up from there. I'm going to grab, the day 3 linemen, assuming they're there. I think it's going to be worth it. Maybe there's some others, extras. There is not, but we're going to go with Orton first, and then we're going to take McCain. Orton, hidden dev. We're trading up for McCain. Normally I wouldn't do that, but those day 3s looked really good. This is a sick draft. This draft has been really good for us. There might have been another position I just completely forgot about, but hopefully that's not the case. So that 4th round pick, I'd like to keep it. 6th round from the double future. Don't know what the double future is. I'm going to do a fifth from the future, I guess. The super future. The double future and the super future. Yep. That is descriptive words, let me tell you. Anyone else on the list? Like wide receiver, I guess. What about Eason? A-catch in traffic. I look for the small traits. Not really that great, to be honest. I think Barber was a speed. Let's go with Barber in the fourth. Because he's like a super speedy type. So McCain and then Barber. McCain? Oh, another hidden! This makes up for Russell. We have the whole offensive line filled now. We have it all filled. And we might grab ourselves, another McCain, we might grab ourselves one of those superstar dev type wide receivers. I can't remember, was he that fast? I think he might be. 99 speed though. Very fast. You don't hate it. You hate that it could have been better. And I know it was UDFA, we took him in the fourth, but I've seen those guys gone by the fifth a lot of times, so not taking that risk. Amazing draft. I don't know what their overalls are. I don't know what their devs are, but the fact that those guys were hidden is a dub no matter what, automatically. But let's take a look at that running back more than anyone because I am very curious. Oh, that's a good sign. Everyone was in the 70s as well. Doug Betts, that's got to be generation. 91 stiff arm, 92 juke move, 85 truck, 89 change direction. I think this might be the best running back I've physically drafted. I mean, I think he has to be X Factor for that to be case because we have drafted X Factors, but oh, and he is. Yeah, I mean, physically, because we've done, those videos where, finding the best generation or whatever, but I've never physically drafted them, right? Like, it's been the AI 82 power move. Are we going to realize the decision of going for 23-year-olds is always bad? Yo! Back-to-back X Factors! Never mind. I guess 23-year-olds are worth it sometimes. I'm going to be honest with you. I almost didn't take him because I was like, I don't ever go 23. But he just looks so good. A power move, A tackle, B block shed. Maybe I have to go for more 23-year-olds. Maybe in real life too. I mean, just it is what it is. Block shed's not that good for Bryson. But maybe he's still superstar plus. And he is. Wow. We landed some absolute goons. I can't remember what position we're looking for there. Probably right out. But we landed some goons. And like I said, we filled like literally every spot. Every single spot is filled with like positions we needed. There might have been a position I completely forgot about. But it's not really coming to me right now. And then Terry McCain. Pretty balanced actually. Maybe he is a perfect fit at right tackle. Yeah, we're set. We are beyond set. That was a killer draft. I did not think that DT was going to be touching. I mean, I say touching X Factor, but I did kind of expect Superstar, I can't lie. Was there any other positions we wanted? I don't think so, right? Like, there was no, like, big, do we want to do this or choose this guy? I don't know. I guess maybe, like, Spruce. I think Spruce would have been the guy I would have went with. If not, hidden development trait, decent power move, decent block shed. I doubt he's going to be X Factor, but if he is, then maybe we made the wrong call. Damn, Superstar. So we would have gotten a good defensive tackle no matter what. Maybe even argue because of the age. I don't know, but I love the pick. I might have to actually, if they look really, really good, go with the 23-year-olds. I mean, usually when I'm scouting, because it takes so long to scout, I usually look for those really good traits, and I don't care about age, and then I usually kind of scan them while actually going into the draft. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's 23. Maybe I don't want him. But yeah, this one I literally learned about his dev right then and there. Almost backed out of it. And thankfully did not. Oh, it would have been such a sell. I mean, I guess maybe not because we did have Spruce. But either way, happy to have it. We still need wide receiver, though, going forward. Even though Brock Bowers does play the slot the majority of the time for us. But overall, we have filled like every positional need we need. I guess maybe center going forward. Actually, no, we have all of our players. I just didn't move them over. Threw some players on the list here, and I really want to take this Boya Mafe trade, but I just don't think that's even close to realistic. This running back, even though he's star dev, he's young, I'll take the backupness out of him, but yeah, I really just got rid of two guys that are on contract years that are usable, absolutely, especially the center, Andre James, but, I'm not going to pay them, and I figure I get a backup in Higgins for a couple of years. He's not really that good, but he's a decent power back, I suppose. You can get rid of Madison, who's more expensive and on the older side, I suppose. Here we go on to year 3. The team is filled with blue, and some of that blue is going to turn red. And some, I mean, literally one. The running back. The rest, of course, are a bunch of white dudes playing offensive line. Wide receiver, definitely need a new wide receiver 2, and then in that same kind of breath, a wide receiver 1 as Davante Adams is not going to last forever. Hopefully he does, but I don't think he will. DT, X Factor. Linebacker, superstar. So middle linebacker needs to be replaced. And wide receiver? Like, that's it? I mean, I know it's year 3 now, so it is taking a little while to get to this point, but we're well on our way finally. We're having a pretty bad season again. Jacoby Myers, I think it might be time. Colton Miller, I don't want to lose him, so I'm going to keep him on that price point, $52 million left. Zamir White, not a bad backup, but we do have that new guy, so I'm probably going to just let the new guy be the backup. And then the rest, we don't really need any new names. Tyree Wilson, we got to save money for. And we do it. Wait, how is he an X Factor? Wait, can punters go up in Dev? Was he a Pro Bowler? He must have been a Pro Bowler. How do we, awards maybe? 1 Pro Bowl here? I have no idea. Was he always an X Factor? I mean, I'm keeping an X Factor punter, regardless of the point. Thank you. Interesting, to say the least. I mean, I suppose. Why not? And then Daniel Carlson wants a 1 year. We'll give him a 2-year deal. $44 million left, and we have to pay Tyree Wilson. And then the quarterback at some point. It's a little early. We might not even have to pay him in this rebuild, but still, at some point. But yeah, Tyree Wilson at that price gets a 5th year. I doubt it stays at that price. And I think we want to save as much money as we can. Jacoby Myers, he hasn't been bad, but he's very mid, right? And he's really slow. What's his actual season stats looking like? About 800 yards a season, which isn't bad. But I mean, I need to get new receivers anyways, so why not just go the rookie route? And here it is. 2nd of the division, I think, but not really meaning anything. Nope, we lost that as well. 7-10. Halfway through the season, I ended up going with the Chiefs because it was just that terrible of a season, and it didn't change anything. It is a tough division. It is a tough conference. But at this point, I think we should at least be going above 500. Yet we can't even do that. 88 overall. Can't even do that. And once again, we would be a higher overall if we actually won games. Sammy Andrews was ass. The rookie running back, who's an X Factor, was ass. The whole receiving core was ass. The blocking, the tackles were super ass. The pass rush was actually pretty good. Crosby was great. Wilkins was pretty decent. Would love to see more from Tyree Wilson, but it's fair enough. Newsome could go up in dev. Kicking, not bad. Punting, amazing. But man, all of that offense, all of that ass. Just, I mean, it's just when she asks you what you want. But Caleb Williams, the MVP of the league, fair enough. Any awards? Oh, okay. We got Defense Player of the Year, an undeserved Rookie of the Year, a probable undeserved Defensive Rookie of the Year. No list of the quarterbacks. Running back, maybe some touchdowns on the list. Not even on the list. Wide receiver, nope. O-line, definitely not. D-line, Max Crosby and Wilkins. Linebacker, not there. DB should be number 2. And then kicker at number 9. Ass season for an ass team. I don't know how we're so bad, because we actually have a good team, but when you play like that, you get the title. What can I say? And the Bears with their MVP quarterback are in the Super Bowl. Anyone dethroning the Chiefs? I mean, I don't even care at this point. Just I don't want to see the same teams. The Chiefs win the Super Bowl. The Bears have been in a lot of them now. They might have won 1, but they definitely lost 2. Looking at the awards wins to force DevUps, not on offense, but Davante Adams is still going strong enough. Defensive line, oh my god, so much red. It is insane. Wilkins goes to X Factor, which is amazing because of the contract he signed, but that is awesome. The regression won't be as hard. And then, of course, we already know Ford was an X Factor off rip. Not sure what we're looking at here because he was a superstar off rip. And then, of course, Newsome is a superstar. This is quite the red. That's all I can say. There's a lot of red. Greg Newsome, superstar dev, which is amazing. We just signed him. Totally worth the contract, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, realistically, we replace Spillane. You get a new wide receiver or 2, and we're done? Even though we're not playing like we're done. Well, we're playing like we're done, just not done with the roster. But anyways, let's take a look at the re-signs. I don't think we have anyone we really care other than, maybe Myers. Once again, I mean, he's not bad. 900 yards is not bad, but if you look at the team right now and the way it's playing, something's got to give. And I'm just going to continue to upgrade the positions that need upgrading. Right? Tyree Wilson, fifth year option. It's a weird one because At an 84 overall, you're expecting maybe 22 to 25 million per, but if you tag him here, he plays another season, you're looking at like 35 per. So I think it's worth taking that risk, re-signing him on your own. Myers, he's regressed, even though he played really well, he did regress slightly. And, honestly, even though it's a realistic rebuild, if somebody's in free agency, wide receiver-wise, who am I to say it's not realistic to sign them, okay? We need a new wide receiver 2 and debatably wide receiver 3. We have $68 million. We want to win now. If there's a name here, we're taking them. And unfortunately, the best name is Jerry Jeudy, and I don't feel great about that. That is not a name that really does things for me. Jalen Ramsey, don't need him. Andrews, don't need him. O-line, it could, speed up the process, but don't need him. We really don't. Tight end, once again, obviously don't need him. Edge rusher, we play, Tyree Wilson's playing like we need one, but yeah, there's no point there either. Jerry Jeudy, because of how interested he is, if he does like a 1-year deal and I can like test him out, I'd do that. I would do a 1-year deal on like 16. I don't know if that's going to do the job, but we'll see. He's pretty interested though. It gives me flexibility. He could be the slot going for it. You know what? At that price, I don't mind him on a 2-year. Can we do like a 2-year 30? That's not bad. That's not bad for us specifically, but also for him, it's not terrible. Dallas Goedert is backup level, not backup level, but a backup contract because we don't really have the starting space. Need the linebacker, but like I said, I'd rather develop. Ivan Pace is not bad either, but I'd rather just develop someone from the draft because we've done a really good job in this rebuild specifically at doing that. But at the same time, Ivan Pace at that price isn't terrible either, and he's actually pretty damn well balanced. We'll see what the difficulty is in getting him. If it's not that bad, I'm willing to spend a little bit more money just to feel like we have the team set. It's not that crazy of a contract, so let's see what we get. We obviously get Jeudy, and we're not going to get Pace, but that is fine. That is absolutely fine. We get our wide receiver 2, lacking in the catching a little bit, but route running's decent. We basically had another, Jacoby Myers on I wouldn't say cheaper contract, but he is better, kind of, by a little bit. Release is obviously better. Plus, I can't really say cheaper or not cheaper because while Jacoby wanted a 3-year 33, he was also red bar, so it was probably going to at least be a 3-year 42, so pretty similar. All right, at pick 12, there was a decent wide receiver. I don't know if I see him as like a worthy first-round pick, but if he's there, maybe I take him. He's around 1. He has a bunch of decent little trades, 6'5". He's good speed, but there's also another kind of like lesser version of him, if you will, a little later in Alonzo Wiggins. Very similar. So, I'm not really that pushed on it. So, we're chilling there. Do we have any other players that are 1s? I think I had a center that looked pretty good. I scouted further because he actually looked like he could be generational. And a top 5 tells me maybe. He had like all A to C's, and some of the ratings they were showing were A's. I don't know if that's generational, but that could be. It could be, and I'm all about generational. So, I'm not going to trade up. Maybe I will trade up. We'll see what happens. The wide receiver / center is there at like 9 or 10. Maybe I trade up, take whoever is remaining. But I'd prefer the wide receiver to go first. I'm not really all about that wide receiver, but the center, the corner was actually really good. And one more pick for the center. He is there. We have a choice between the center or the wide receiver. And I got to admit, we don't need the center. While the wide receiver, Josh Joseph, is definitely a little bit bigger of a need. I think the other guy is similar to this guy, but I do think this guy in general is better. So as much as the center might be generational, I don't really need O-line, so I'm taking Josh Joseph. Oh, I sold. Oh, I made a decision that was not a good one. Might still start him just for that chance at that dev up. But yeah, I sold. Let's be honest. Let's just be so for real. I may have had a generational lineman, and I ended up... Do I take Wiggins as well? Are we that set to where we just don't even need anything? There were some really good corners, but they're all gone now. We have this safety. I think Jeffrey looks just as good, if not better. I'm going to go double dip mode. Alonzo Wiggins, another tall wide receiver. And, yep, that was the right call, I guess. Pick 12 in the 3rd round. When did we get that 4th? I thought we were missing the 4th. Oh, maybe we're missing every pick after the 4th. We do need linebacker, though, so we're not that luxury, but I knew we could get to this pick without having to really worry, so we are here, and I think Gilmore looks the best, right? Lance Gilmore, 6 foot tall, boom, speedy. Ooh, okay. I might double dip on this position as well. Once again, I can trade a little bit in the future, because right now I just don't need anything, and looking at the contracts, I think we're at least clear for another season without having to worry then either. I think Timmy Green or Mr. Crowder are my choices. So we're going to move down until it's just one of them. And we're going to use Russell with our 4th this year to move up like 30 spots into the 3rd round. I think that's a win for them because there's a good chance you draft a guy exactly like Russell with the dev and age and all on the pick alone. So, I mean, they definitely didn't do too bad for themselves. I do like Greenwood as well. Although you should probably get that checked out by a doctor. Let me take one more look at Crowder real quick, because Crowder does look raw, but he's a middle linebacker. These are the types of players that give me a better chance of hitting, I feel. He is really athletic. You do not hate that pick if you're usering the player, but I'm not usering the player is the problem. Either way, we whiffed on 2 linebackers, so we ended up with a wide receiver that was hidden. Not my favorite draft in the world, but, you know, we doubled down on positions we needed, and we did okay, I think. And here we go with the draft, 74-74. The linebacker was a very high overall, though, at 76, 71, and then some random safety. So Joseph was the exact same overall as the other wide receiver, although he looks amazing, like I said. 88 spec, 85 catch, 82 catch in traffic. I mean, he might be a goon, but he doesn't have hidden dev. And, yeah, I mean, Wiggins is way more raw. I'm not sure what I do. I might start Joseph. I'm not... I get Wiggins has dev, and I get that dev is superstar dev, but the other guy has a way higher ceiling, I think, if you start him right away, and this guy can develop as the future at the position, you know, the Twin Towers at wide receiver 1 and 2, while not having to play. I think that's the smart call. You start Joseph and let Wiggins, because he's a superstar, just sit back up because he doesn't need the dev ups anyways. I think that's the right call. I think, you know, if Devontae needs a contract, as much as it sucks, you let him go because he's going to regress into oblivion and maybe even retire anyways. And then you have 2 potential star plus, maybe even both superstar dev wide receiver 1 and 2s. I think that's the smart call. Gilmore, I don't know if he's going to play the middle linebacker spot, but I think someone needs to start at middle linebacker that isn't Spillane, just because Spillane's ceiling is reached. He's been a good player, but he'll just be a solid backup. I mean, that's A-okay as well. The Bills are going to be giving us A.J. Epinesa and a 5th-round pick for Trey Tucker, who's not a bad player at all, just didn't really develop for us as the number 3. And, you know, we're going to have some depth and that draft pick, which I don't mind. I like the depth. I like the draft pick. I don't hate it. The new squad for Season 4, high hopes for Joseph. Really hoping he has just an amazing season and, you know, goes to star, maybe even to superstar. We would... If we lose Devontae, it would be Joseph, Wiggins, and Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy's is not a bad slot wide receiver for us. I think he fits the role pretty well. You know, not the best of catches, so you're not really wanting him to go against those super good physical corners. You want him to just win his matchup, so then he doesn't really need to be good at catching because he's so open. But then you look at the other positions. Really wish the quarterback would go up and overall a little bit quicker. Same with Ford even. I know he started off as 23, but as an X Factor, 74 overall, I think he only went up 3 overalls as an X Factor. That's kind of crazy. We're starting Gilmore. We're really hoping that he can, you know, join the brothers here in their, you know, their glow up, if you will. Safeties are pretty solid. Corners, Hobbs might need to be replaced. I didn't really think of him as like a problem, but he's 27. Feels like that overall is barely shifted. Well, we're a pretty good season. We have a lot of money, but we also have a lot of players to re-sign. Did we make a mistake with Tyree Wilson? It is under $20 million per, so I don't think we did. Christian Wilkins needs a contract as well. Powers Johnson needs a contract. Mayer, we knew was going to happen. Devontae, I predicted. I think even though these names are huge and the quarterback's upcoming, I think we should be able to manage this. We'll do the contracts based on what they, you know, are asking for. 29 for Crosby. I mean, you could probably do a 4-year deal, 4-year 90. That's perfect. 133 mil still with, you know, Tyree Wilson needing his contract, but we'll get that done. I'm just gonna do 20 mil per year and see what he does on like a 6-year deal. Really? Okay, I'm a little surprised. We'll get that done hopefully. Christian Wilkins, we'll do a 2-year. 2-year 46. What do you have? 91 mil left. Powers Johnson, we should easily afford. It's actually going pretty well. Can't lie. 63 mil. The problem is Devontae's still on the list, which you don't want to lose him, but at the same time, outside of like a 1-year deal, I mean, he takes it. So, I mean, outside of a 1-year deal, I don't think you want to do any more years than that. I mean, we're chilling, I think. I think we're actually really good. The problem is, what are the contracts going to be like after this season? All right, so the playoffs, no matter what we are in, but we are not going to have the division, unfortunately. So we are going to be on the road for hopefully the first of many 13-4, not a bad season on the road against the Jets. I don't know who their quarterback is, whatever that. We're going to play it cool. Guarantee the win sounds like kind of like a douche move. But let's take a look at how the season went. Don't see our guys on the list. Kind of quick glance, to be fair. Regular season, somewhat shaky start, but overall won 4 games for every loss pretty much, and then some. And here we are with a pretty strong performance and a playoff berth. Sammy Andrews, pretty good per season. 34 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,400 yards. Betts, way better. Obviously, it almost no matter what, seems like the rookie year as a running back is always going to suck. So we're glad to see that he actually is kind of sort of playing like an X Factor. A lot of touchdowns, in fairness. Brock Bowers killed it. Joseph was pretty good. Hopefully that was good enough for Rookie of the Year. Devontae was okay. Judy was okay. Betts, actually not bad. Touchdowns, no one in double digits. Offensive line, pretty good improvement, actually, especially for McCain. Crosby is absolutely killed, and I don't know what's changed. I changed the offensive scheme to the Chiefs because, we've been struggling, but the defensive scheme has been the Buffalo Bills for the whole time. So, I'm not really sure how he just decided to wake up, but he finally did, thankfully. The rest, though, really disappointing. Interceptions were okay. Daniel Carlson was great. AJ Cole was great. Punt return and kick return, it's very rare to see touchdowns. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Caleb Williams again. Were we on the list? We were not, unfortunately. Offensive Rookie of the Year, please. Yes, Greg Joseph. That's a big one. Gilmore, Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's why you always start those rookie linebackers. Best QB was all the way at 9. I don't know how. Running back was number 2. Those touchdowns killed it. Wide receiver was actually all the way up at number 8, which is not bad, considering his touchdowns were actually pretty low. Crosby wins another award. D-line of the year. Linebacker, I don't think I see us. And then DB at number 8. Kicker, number 1. Daniel Carlson does it again. But it is now the playoffs against the Jets, a team that doesn't usually do too well in Sim. So I'm going to be a little disappointed if we don't win it, at least this game. Going to the end of the game, Jets struggle. We get a touchdown. They get a really good touchdown. They get a stop and the touchdown. It's 14-all right now, 21-14. A lot of double scores. They get 2 touchdowns in a row. We get 2 touchdowns in a row. Start of the second half, we are up by 14, now up by 21, and that game is, I would imagine, over. Sauce Gardner with a pick, but I don't think it's going to be enough. While the Jets do try, they will, unfortunately for them, run out of time. I'm not going to say unfortunately for us, but looks like Sammy Andrews had a pretty good game. 2 picks sucks, but with a game where you only miss 5 throws out of 32, it could have been deflections for all you know. But 5 touchdowns is amazing. Sam Howell is the Jets quarterback. Meh. Breece Hall was really good for them. Betts was pretty mid, but at least he was, consistent, but consistently mid. Josh Joseph, decent game. Brock Bowers got involved as well. Sack totals, Quentin Williams was amazing. Wilkins was okay. We got 3 sacks as well. It just took 3 players to do it. Sauce Gardner with 2 picks. Newsom with 1. Both teams' top corners showing out with some interceptions. Also, for the first of many scenario, it was 7 staff points. It was basically useless. The Chargers. Okay, it might be the Chiefs awaiting for all we know. We don't know yet because obviously they have to play their game, but it could have been worse. The Chargers are not easy, but they are beatable. Going to the end of the game, Chargers, I believe, are left to right. So far, a scoring of nothing. Last game was like an unstoppable scoring affair. This one is a defensive battle. Don't know who wins that in this, type of matchup. We get the field goal. It's 10-3, 17-3. Now, if it's a defensive battle, I'm all about it, which so far it's continuing to be. And yeah, not a trailblazing sort of, touchdown frenzy, but a win nonetheless, 17-6. A little surprised by it, to be honest, but hey, a win is a win. No picks. Herbert got locked down. Betts, consistent again. Joseph, consistent again. Joe Alt was, pretty good, it seems. Did he didn't get a lot of sack. No, he didn't. Looking at the sack totals for us, though, speaking of, both teams finding a way to get 2 each. No picks. They missed a kick, which, might have changed their game plan at the end, which would have been a 1-possessioner had they hit it. So, could have forced overtime with that kick hit. Who knows? But what I do know is they're winning the championship round. However, it's a pretty damn good chance that the team we have to beat to make it to the Super Bowl is going to be another division rival, and not really just another, but the division rival, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, who's been in like every Super Bowl. I actually want to know if they have been. Let's see, league history. Have they been in every Super Bowl in this rebuild? So they've been in that one. They were not in that one, in fairness. Oh, they weren't in, like, any of them, actually. It just feels like every single rebuild they're in them, so kind of hard to remember sometimes, but hopefully they're not in this one either. Please. Oh! Hold up. Wait a minute. Something's not right, but in a good way. The Bengals beating the Jaguars by quite a bit. The Bengals beating the Chiefs by 3, but in a super high-scoring affair. And now it's the Vikings versus the Cowboys. If we win, I really pray for the Vikings to win, obviously. But then us versus the Bengals. We're at home. You know, I know we're a decent seed, but to not win your division and have 2 home playoff games is definitely, you know, unlucky because of the format, but lucky in the same sense because of the format. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have all the talent in the world at wide receiver, but we are starting some youthful players, so for us to win it this year, all because of the Chiefs scheme, would definitely be something. I suppose we ran the Chiefs scheme the year before and it didn't do anything, but still, it would definitely be something. This is a much closer game than we're used to. Down by 7 are the Bengals, but it is now tied up. 5 minutes left. 4th and 3. I mean, I get it. You have played defense in this game. You haven't been terrible. But at the same time, do you not just, like, try to win the game here? Running back is out there. He's a damn X Factor. And not a really X Factor-ly play, but did enough to get the first down. And the moment I, like, pulled off of the thing, they asked Madden it was a run play. Although they didn't actually run it. 3rd and 12. You got to get some yards. Huge play to Jerry Jeudy. Trying to waste the clock, it seems. Inches. I get the field goal, but I'm a little worried. 3rd and 17, and we win to the Super Bowl. Please be the Vikings. Please be the Vikings. This is more of a back-and-forth battle. This is a pretty good game. Sammy Andrews kind of selling with that pick. Betts, 66 yard. You know, not bad. Very interesting that our X-Factor running back is named Betts, and he plays in Vegas. Crosby was amazing. Wilkins was really good. Pratt with a pick, and they missed a field goal. Wow, that is anti-clutch. When you have a relative that sells handbags. I don't even know if they... Oh, it is the Vikings. I don't even know if they call, like, the small purses clutches. Is that like an old person term? I don't know. But let's take a look at the Vikings. You know, we've seen our performances, obviously, but... Let's take a look at the Vikings. The Bears by 7, which the Bears are really good now. I'm surprised they didn't even have the bye week, in fairness. And we've seen that one where they smoked up. Well, not smoked, but they put a lot of points up and won by 6 against the Eagles. And then Dallas by 4. I mean, both teams, you know. The last team we just played against scored 24. We won. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying the odds are in our favor, but if history's to repeat itself, I don't feel bad. I almost called him Greg Joseph. Josh Joseph does go up in Devon. He will be an 80 overall, which is actually pretty good. You know, 80 overall as a rookie, not bad. And once again, we have the superstar in the mix, waiting, kind of being ruined, but at the same time, he would have never went up in Dev, no matter how good of a season. Well, not no matter, but realistically how good of a season he had. So I think we made the right call, future-proofing more than just one wide receiver, right? Wiggins is a 77 overall, but he's superstar. So he'll catch up to Joseph if, assuming, you know, next season he starts. I don't know. He'll probably be a starter at 24. Betts is a 97 overall, which is crazy. And then Gilmore is a superstar dev. This is why you draft and develop those linebackers. We now have 3 superstar development trait off-ball linebackers that we drafted, you know, and only one of them was actually at a superstar, I believe, to start. I think it was normal, star, and superstar. It's like a little ladder, or not ladder, but steps. What ladder have you seen? I guess it makes sense. Ladder works there too. But yeah, let's get the last little bit of our upgrades in and face off against his Vikings team. What is their overall? I mean, it's not bad, but it's winnable. The Vikings are going to do it to us, even though I think in that rebuild it was like a year 5 success story. I mean, no spoiler alert. Go check that video out. The Vikings starting off with 7. We get the stops, though, and we finally get a touchdown. It is 7-7. We look better. But that doesn't really mean anything when you're not finishing drives. 21-14, like I said, I do think we look better. We're up by 14 now, up by 7 only. It's a close game. A score could probably win it here. And it's looking good. 5 minutes left. They do get a really nice drive there, though. They're going to keep the game alive with no touchdown. They ran. I would have loved to see that if it was real life. It was a 4th and goal from the 5. J.J. McCarthy ran for 4. It must have been like a crazy breakdown play where he scrambled to the end zone and someone denied him. And of course, do not get safety. We actually run out of the issue and win the Super Bowl in year 4 with the Las Vegas Raiders. This was actually one of our better drafting rebuilds. It was a little iffy at the start, but that X-Factor running back and DT draft, not that it was like the carry of this rebuild, even though I really think that running back was massive for us, it was insane. To draft 2 X-Factors in the same draft, you know, it's definitely not easy to do. And I know only one of them was generational, but still, unbelievable. And that was a pretty big point for this team. Drafting the linebackers, developing them pretty much every single season to become superstars was also huge. But the biggest problem move, you know, we could have probably drafted a corner and then developed him, but is, you know, Greg Newsome being a free agent. You know, he was our best cornerback by far. We never drafted, like, another corner, maybe in general, let alone, you know, in the first 3 rounds. And obviously, you know, cornerback 2, Hobbs wasn't even that great, so it would have been potentially him projected as the number 1. But looking at Andrews versus McCarthy, McCarthy technically outplayed him slightly, but as suspected, 3 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, our offense was definitely better. Aaron Jones is still there in our recent rebuild of the Vikings. He actually didn't regress that hard, so it's not surprising. But Justin Jefferson, amazing. Jerry Jeudy was decent. It's a team effort team, right? About 50, 60 yards for like every player on this offense. Even Betts got involved. Darisaw gave up 2 sacks to Tyree Wilson, potentially. Crosby obviously got in there as well. Our pass rush was better than theirs by a lot. No picks, and basically no kicks. Clean game. Special teams was bored. I can't remember if we actually did that challenge fantasy draft rebuild where we had the first pick in every single round. I know we did one where we had the last pick and then the CPU drafted for us at the last pick, but if we've ever done one as the first pick overall team and drafted itself, because I would love to do the Chiefs playbook out the gate as well, because that playbook is really strong to the point where, like, you can change things around pretty hard, and that's why I don't usually run it until right at the end when things are really just not working out. But I am glad to see that Davante Adams has himself a ring here. 33 years old. He's still really good. That's why, I didn't mind re-signing him. I'm going to, sim 1 week after this and see what his real regression point is anyways. Probably 89, like, at the worst. Truck stiff arm didn't really go up, but Juku spin move, speed even went up a lot, actually. I think his speed might have went up 3. It's actually really significant. Josh Joseph, we recently just looked at him, but that's what he looks like. Don't know what Wiggins would have went up by. I didn't really pay attention too much because I figured he was going to be a down-the-line guy, even though he is a superstar. The release is amazing. I don't know if they started with that, but release is really good. Physical is just so insane. Colton Miller is a real-life offensive lineman, and so is Powers Johnson, so we'll take a look at those two. Very good pass blocker from Colton Miller, which in this year's game where it seems like run blocking is automatic no matter who you are, that's how you want your player built. And that's exactly how Jackson Powers Johnson is as well. So, very good couple of youngsters for them in real life. I'm really curious to see this one. Brock Bowers. Can't remember what his speed was on this class, but that might actually be what his speed started as. But I got to say, that's some of the best route running I've seen in the game outside of, Kyle Pitts. But yeah, he is very, very good. And, we did what we could with him development-wise. I felt like I put him as the number 1 tight end and the number 1 slot wide receiver, and even when we weren't running schemes where tight ends, do their best, I feel like we got some pretty good seasons out of him. 700-800 yards for schemes that usually give you like 5-6. So, we did what I think they're going to do in real life. Of course, Sammy Andrews, short accuracy is terrible, but I usually feel like the quarterbacks that aren't good, even though they should be, based on overall, are the ones that have bad deep accuracy versus bad short. I think Bryson also went to X Factor, which is, pretty nice. Obviously, see there on the bottom. Block shed's a little iffy, but zone coverage, man coverage even, very good. Athletic as hell. Great tackle in pursuit and all that, but needs to work on that run defense game a little bit. Can't lie. Middle linebacker, Fulton, also, I believe, an 84 overall. Way more balanced because, you get that inside linebacker upgrade. It's field general, and you're cooking. That speed. Ridiculous, speaking of cooking. And then Gilmore, brand new, but already an 81 overall. Start off really high. Zone coverage is going to lack, but 84 block shed. So I guess you get, your weaknesses and strengths at each player. Trayvon Merrick, unfortunately, didn't go to Superstar, but is a very high overall. 93 zone coverage, super speedy, great hit power. This is the type of linebacker, or safety, I almost call him linebacker because of some of those ratings, the type of safety you want, right? Those are all the traits. Height, hit power, zone, speed. And he has it all. Lippet, he's kind of there as well. Hit power is pretty good for CPU generated. Zone coverage is getting there, 90 speed. And of course, he's significantly younger, so he has time still to develop. Then we move on to the corners. We've seen Greg Newsome here and there do really well, but we'll take a look anyway. Superstar Dev, near max man coverage, really good press. Zone's a little iffy, but 84 is good enough. Really smart player as well. Then we move on to Hobbs, who is basically like all zone. 86 overall. He's hovered between 84 and 86 his whole rebuild, which is, once again, why a lot of people say I overreact by not going for 23-year-olds. But it does affect their progression. It's not about, oh, well, why do you care this much? You're only playing for this many seasons anyways. It affects their progression. It affects their regression, and it does mean a lot. Tyree Wilson really never had a great season for us. He's a decent player, but X Factor, I don't know if he really even deserves that. Looking at Max Crosby, he was amazing in this one, especially as of late. I think his worst season he had put up was like 11.5 sacks. Then he had like a 15, he had a 19, he had a 21. He's insane. Basically max in both pass rush styles, and his block shed's pretty good. Speed and all that is obviously amazing. Christian Wilkins, the dev up, glow up was amazing. Very good block shed, decent power rush moves, and an X Factor player. Obviously, that's awesome. It's huge. And then Will Ford. I was thinking of that cornerback we passed on. 24 years old, going on 25. Great power move, decent strength. His overall's a little low, but X Factor, he's good. He just hasn't really played well. And then special teamers, they're regressing. Well, maybe not AJ Cole, but Daniel Carlson's regressing. Look at AJ Cole. Unbelievable. 99 accuracy and kick power. Who let this guy cook that hard? That is, how can you compete with that? And then Daniel Carlson, 99 kick power with 87 accuracy. So great special teams, probably the best in the league. And a lot of other bests in leagues. Maybe the best running back, best tight end perhaps by now. Best overall core offensive line, I imagine. Best linebacker group. Best D-line, I'd imagine. Up there for safeties. It's a really good team. And rightfully so, we won the Super Bowl. If you guys enjoy this one, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, I do appreciate continued support on the channel. Maybe follow me on Twitter, JeromepkR. Second channel, PKR Plays for non-Madden content. I keep bringing it up, but I don't know when the next planned series / upload is going to be on that channel. But there's probably a lot of stuff a lot of you guys have not checked out. So maybe check it out. Maybe you're like, I wonder if he played this game. Oh, he did. Sweet. Or it's like any other game, and you're like, oh wow, he's not played this game. What a noob. But anyways, like I said, let me know in the comment section below what team you'd like to see next. I don't know if I really have a team on my list, but there's probably a couple on the short list. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys come back for next video, which I have no idea because, I don't want to put too many rebuilds out and then you guys are like, holy crap, I can't keep up. There's way too many hours. But until next video, I'll see ya.